everybody. Happy Earth Day. I'm so glad we get to occupy this planet together. It's my personal favorite one. So hopefully after this quarantine is done, we'll continue to do better by it and people will treat it with a little more respect, I'm hoping. So lots of darkness out there in this pandemic and a lot of suffering. And so I just wanted to throw a little light into the darkness today and share some life hacks of mine that either make my life better or cheaper or easier. And hopefully there's one or two in here that help you too. There's no continuity throughout except that it's a life hack, but just a few random thoughts today that might make your life a little easier too. So I'm going to first of all start off with my beauty hacks, and there's a lot of eyelash work going on. You see it all the time. Even people getting interviewed about the fire in their building have to put on their eyelashes first. And I've done them a few times, and they look really pretty, but they're not very practical and sometimes a little distracting and make your eyes look really heavy and exhausted. So what I do, which I think is a pretty good alternative, is I've always used two different mascara wands. This is crucial. It doesn't really matter which mascara it is as long as one of them is heavier than the other, but they have little teeth on the wands as long as they're two different types of teeth. One might be close together, one might be spread apart, and if you go back and forth between the two just a couple of times, that does the trick for my eyelashes, which are invisible because I'm a ginger, so you can't even see them if I don't have mascara on. So they don't have to be expensive. One of mine I think is $5 I got off the internet, but two different mascara wands. That is a huge game changer once I started doing that. The other thing I wanted to share is, as far as skincare goes, I'm a pretty big pusher of column A, column B, which basically is meaning that I get the good stuff, which is this La Roche. You can get this at CVS even, but it's a little expensive. It's about $38. So I always wait until I have my 30% off coupon for one item, and I use it on this. But I also use this ginormous $8 bottle of banana boat lotion on everywhere else, like if there's no places where there's no wrinkles. So I use the expensive stuff only where I need it, which is around my eyes, my forehead, my laugh lines here, because I laugh a lot. And so this is very efficient because then I take forever to go through it, and then everywhere else gets the good old banana boat until it starts wrinkling, and then it'll get the good stuff. But it's the same idea of, I use Ivory soap, which is very cheap, and you can buy it in huge blocks, right, of like 12 for $5. It's very pure, so I have sensitive skin, and it's very cheap, but then I do spend the money where it's needed, such as the face cream, right? Column A, column B. One that's, same thing, if you have a party and you have one off-brand cola, but you have an on-brand cola, you mix them together, no one knows the difference. So you use expensive stuff where it's really needed and the cheap stuff everywhere else. What to talk about? A lot of times people have a hard time meeting someone new, and this is something I'm actually pretty good at. I love to talk to new people and find out about them. But for some people, this is really hard. So the advice that I have always given out is you just ask people about themselves, right? I might have talked about this before, but it bears repeating. It could be, so where were you born at? What was your elective in school? What was your favorite class? Where do you guys go on the weekends? What do you do for fun? Whatever it is, to just ask them about themselves. So it takes the pressure off of you. And also, people love to talk about themselves, and it just will give you a chance because they'll say something in there that you connect to, and you can go, oh my gosh, I love that movie too, or Mexican restaurant, whatever it is. So whenever you don't know what to talk about, just remember to ask people about themselves. Works pretty much every time. Another piece of advice, which I think me and my husband use without even realizing it, is for your first dates, I think dinner's a terrible idea. I think that you have to go somewhere that's fun and that really gets your adrenaline running, because then whenever they think about this date, it's going to make their adrenaline pump. They're going to think it's you. Who knows? Might be. Could be. Little column A. Little column B. Amusement parks, Six Flags, just anything that is like go-karts, that's active and fun, and is a great way to start off your relationship instead of being at dinner like, so what are you looking for in a guy, which is just so painful. Plenty of time for all that. So on your first date, or even if you're just trying to make a new friend, when you go somewhere, do something fun that gets your blood pumping, or that makes you laugh a lot, and then like a comedy club that makes the endorphins pump out. The next thing I want to advise, which I think might be a Southernism, I don't know, or maybe it's just a polite-ism, is, when people come over to our home, we always offer them, something to drink, of course, and being a hostess. But I think it's super important, even more important, that whenever workers come in our house, that we treat them the same way. So if anyone ever comes into my home, a painter or a plumber, right, an electrician, I always say, can I get you some water or coffee? Because it puts us on a human-to-human level, which means that you're not here serving me. You are helping me, and if you need some caffeine or a little rehydration, I want to help you too. It just puts people at ease and lets them know that you don't consider yourself above them, and also just to be grateful for the work they're doing in your home. It's just something my mom always did, and like I said, I don't know if that's a Southern thing, but offering something to drink to everyone who comes in your home, not just your own guests. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is pets. I am a mommy cat extraordinaire, and most of my cats live very long. I've had cats live to 18, 19, 21 years old. A, because they get lots of love, and B, I have always had them have other cats. So even if it's hard the first couple of weeks, they always end up being friends. And when I brought in Tigger, Alex was super mad, but we did it very slowly and kept Tigger in a room. Oops, sorry. There I am. We kept Tigger in a room by himself with Aurora, and so the cat were, of course, the girls, every time the door opened, were like, trying to see it and stuff, but at least it let them smell him, get used to his scent. So they did have a little tiffs when they came out, little rare. But we used the CBD treats. Anytime we were going to have them a little play date, we used it's like a pheromone pump that you put into the electrical outlet, and that would always chill them out. And after a couple of weeks, they were sponge bathing each other ad nauseum. Like, they're ridiculous. They're so in love and all over each other. So I think it's very good for pets to have friends. And even the older ones, even if they don't want to snuggle, they're not a touchy-feely cat. It gives them somebody to smell and just to be like, hey, what's he doing? Is he in my bowl? What's up? Where is he going? And gives them something to think about and something to do so that they're not bored, and keeps their little kitty brain pumping. The next thing I wanted to talk about is cleaning house. I hate cleaning house, personally. And so if you do too, then I don't know, this all might be really weird, but it might help somebody, so I'm going to put it out there. Well, the first thing I use is a mantra, which is everything has its place. Because what tends to happen with me is, being the introspective type I am, if I get overcome by the clutter, I start to do this psychological and mental thing like, what's the matter with me? Why didn't I stay on top of this? And why do I have all this mess? Am I not doing? What's wrong with me? Whatever. And so it's kind of a downward spiral. It takes longer, and sometimes then you just don't even clean it all because you feel bad about making the mess in the first place. But if you keep saying everything has its place, then it's about the object in your hand instead of what's going on in your brain. And you just keep coming back to it. In anything, the trying is the important part. You just keep coming back to it. Everything has its place. And if it doesn't, then make a place, either in a box or a bucket or a pile of, okay, these are all the markers. Okay, this is all things to be donated, whatever. Everything has its place. Just keep repeating that mantra. it's worked for me for years. And then the other part that I like to do is if I'm looking around in my apartment and I'm like, oh, it's so small, I don't have enough room for everything and storage, whatever. Then I think about somebody coming from a refugee camp or somewhere in a third world country that doesn't have running water, right? And if I brought them to my one bedroom apartment, they would think it was a mansion. They would think it was paradise. And I try to look at it through their eyes. How would they look at this room? If I had never lived here before, how would I envision this room? And changes, you look at it from a different perspective. So you want to refresh in your perspective. When I was a kid in school, I did this all the time. I was a terrible daydreamer. I actually made pretty good grades, but I never got to go to PE because I was always daydreaming and taking too long to do my work. All my report cards say daydreams too much. I was a big daydreamer. And so I would go through this scenario in my brain where some woman had chosen me and she thought I was special and she was taking me to this school and she believed in me and I wanted to impress her and I wanted to do really well. And so I would pretend I was a new student and that I was looking at this schoolwork through the eyes of someone who had never been here before and to refreshen to find some motivation because I couldn't find it in myself. So I would pretend to be somebody else and to be striving to impress somebody, and it would help me get my schoolwork done. So like I said, that one might be a little weird. I don't know how many people do that, but I can take a scenario, put myself in it, and then look through the eyes of somebody else. And it's a blessing and a curse because it makes you extremely empathetic, which is hard in times such as these, but it can also give you a new way to look at life. The last thing I want to share with is the idea of playing toys with kids. I've had so many parents tell me like, oh, I'm really not good at playing. It's not fun. I hate it. And I really like to play Barbies. I like to play Legos. I like to play pretend. So this is something that comes pretty easy to me. And I'm just going to share you the best, simplest way to play pretend with dolls, any type of dolls, is you just have to have an event, usually a holiday. So I'll make it Halloween. Oh, we got to get ready for Halloween. Oh, we got to make our costumes. We got to get dressed up. Let's tell a spooky story, whatever. It's somebody's birthday. We got to write little cards and wrap little gifts and Barbie Christmas is my favorite. Always works. Every kid I've ever tried because then it writes itself. The script writes itself because the kids know what happens at Christmas. So the Barbies are going to have to do a Christmas story. They're going to have to find gifts for their siblings, and we just take little toys and wrap them in little boxes that could have been a jewelry box or a box that Altoids came in, anything. And then we have I have several fake trees that I take over whenever I play with the kids. And then we do the entire Christmas scenario with the dolls. And it's a lot of fun. And the kids already know what to do. They love to celebrate holidays. So anytime you're pretending with any kind of made up scenario, given an event, if you're really trying to encourage your kid to be educational, then make the event that Barbie graduated from college and now she's about to travel the world, or she got her professorship and they're having a party. But whatever it is, I just find that the script writes itself if you just make it into an event, right? Well, those are just some random little hacks that I wanted to share with you today. And I hope that one or two of them will make things easier for you. And if you have some for me, then by all means, please send them to me or put them below. I'd love to see them. And I hope you're being safe. I hope you're at home, safe and sound. And when this is all over, I'm sure we will hug extra, extra tight. God bless. Be well, and I love you. Bye.